Clarence Craft, 1944 to 1949. Gus Brown, 1950 to 1958. Marvin Simpson, 1959 to 1966. All former Tarrant County judges. And now, Howard Green's official portrait is being added to that courthouse gallery of X's. Green became county judge in 1967. His tenure ends on New Year's Eve. The judge was defeated in the 1974 Democratic primary by oil man Mike Moncrief.
Anything about the reason I lost the election, it always sounds like an alibi. I'll say this, that I didn't work very hard, and that had a lot to do with it. And also, this sounds like an alibi. But when you have a millionaire opponent, that makes some difference.
The All-American sport, baseball, occupied much of Green's time from high school days until his few remaining months as county judge. In 1946, Green became manager of the Abilene Baseball Club, and he went on to become president of several baseball organizations. It was a whole new ballgame, though, when Green was elected to the legislature in 1957. And apparently he pleased enough voters to be re-elected 4 times. In 1967, he gave up his legislative seat for the top chair on the Commissioner's Court. And the Howard Green days that most people will remember are those days spent in the Tarrant County Courthouse as county judge.
I feel very good about the accomplishments of the last 8 years. You know, I really believe we had a revolution in county government in this county beginning in 1967. As I've said before, we made it respectable to be for progress. And I think that those who go after us are going to be for progress. When I came on the court, John Peter Smith Hospital was a very small hospital with not many beds, with not near the facilities that it has today. More than $15 million has been expended to improve John Peter Smith Hospital in the last 8 years. When I became county judge, the youngsters as young as 4 years old would spend their evenings sometimes in the county jail because they didn't have a child shelter. We had no juvenile center, and so we've, I think, have achieved some public responsibility in that field.
Of course, the judge's own list of accomplishments goes on. He's particularly pleased with the county's job classification system, the new county planning department, the public works department, the county's cooperation with the city of Fort Worth, and his own personal appointments to boards and commissions.
Let me help you out, Stan. We're getting into trouble.
You are. Would you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, in this case, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you state your name before. And he died on November 20th of 1974.
Right.
And as far as you know, that was the last will that you had written. There were no children that were born to or adopted by you and your husband after this will was made. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. And that principal estate is located here in Tarrant County.
Right.
You asked the judge to approve the admitting of this will to probate, Tarrant County, Texas.
I asked the judge to admit.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Other than the title companies, we were not aware of this, and apparently...
Mr. Blow, I didn't meet Mr. Blow. Mr. Mavis has requested the privilege of moving to adjourn, and
It's
so
the only time I ever
no
get a second
objection,
in.
we'll grant him that privilege. Never did hoist a white flag for the need for peace and harmony on the court. There were many times that we had somewhat bitter controversies over appointments to various boards. One that I recall was John Peter Smith Hospital Board, the Tarrant County Hospital Board, in which Commissioner Anderson was making a very determined effort to get Robert McCollum, a Southwestern Bell executive, on the board. And Mr. Wright, Mr. Lewis, and I prevailed. We got Clifford Davis, the first black on the board, instead of Mr. McCollum. Not too long after that, it was in the works for a private concern to bid for the phone services at Peter Smith Hospital. And Southwestern Bell was eventually disconnected. I think if a Bell executive had been on the board, that wouldn't have happened, because I can't see a group of board members slapping a fellow board member in the face, so to speak. And over the years, as far as Mr. Anderson is concerned, I think he frequently tended toward gross exaggeration, and some of the things that happened with him, I don't suppose will always be locked in the treasury of my fondest recollections. Commissioner Richardson, he and I did not always work harmoniously for various measures. I felt that sometimes his conduct on some things might have been a bit erratic. But I'll say this, that because he came our way, we have, the people of this county have benefited. And we have a better county government because of the contribution that Mr. Richardson made. And I say that even though his differences in mine were quite well publicized by the media of the area. And some of it was...
We're going to be seeing much of you, or have we seen the last of you in politics?
As I'm sitting here, that I'll never again run for public office. I've said before, and I'll say it again, that much have I traveled in the realms of gold, and deeply do I appreciate the many honors that the people of this county bestowed upon me. To be elected by the people of the county for 18 years is indeed a signal honor, and I appreciate that, and but I'm not going to run anymore. I'll leave the political campaigning and the office holding to someone else.
Can you tell us yet what you do plan to do?
Oh, I will